What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mina channel. Today we are gonna discuss something that I've actually been wanting to talk about for quite a bit of time. And honestly, that at first I was kind of like thinking about this video, and I was like, you know what? I don't know if I should make this video, but I had a question. Somebody asked me this question yesterday, and I felt like this was worth it to talk about this in detail. So, the question is: should you buy Persona 5 Royal if you already have the original Persona Vanilla game, and is it worth it? So why am I talking about this? And there's a lot of different reasons. Originally, when I first saw Persona 5 Royal announced and I played the Japanese game and everything, I made a video of whether I thought it was going to be worth it and everything. I think that was before the game actually came out in Japan, and I talked about what we knew about the game and what to expect, as well as the game and so on. So at first, at the time, I was like, yeah, I think it's going to be worth it. But today I have solidified my thoughts on this subject, and I want to go ahead and talk about this. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So Persona 5 has now come out for about 3 years vanilla, so it's been quite a bit of time. People have played the game, so if you are interested in the game, an original vanilla game, you played the game, unless you just didn't know about it, or you're waiting for Royal. Now, if you played the game, Persona 5 Royal has just come out maybe about 2 months ago, so a lot of people are still in that phase of kind of wait and see kind of things. I want to hear from people what do they think and everything like that. So my thoughts on this is the following. So I think the game has a lot of bang for your buck when it comes to the actual stuff that they improved on the game, the additional aspects of the game and everything like that. And to be honest with you guys, I don't know if it's worth the price for it, because everybody assigns a price and a worth for something based on your particular life expectations for things. For example, I will never pay $50 on sneakers, on shoes. I don't spend a lot of money on shoes. Why not? Because I don't care for shoes, I just wear shoes because I need to. But there are some people that like to spend hundreds of dollars on shoes. That is insane to me. At the same time, I have no problem with me spending hundreds of dollars on video games. It is my hobby. So that plain situation here, now let's put it in perspective on Persona 5. I'm a huge fan of Persona 5. Whatever may be my answer, I do think it might be a bias, because myself included, or many fans, I've been waiting for Persona 5 Real for quite a bit. Atlus does this soft remake of a game a couple years after the game, a vanilla game, has come out. That's always been a rule of thumb for the Persona games. All of them have a soft remake of the sort. It's every single Persona game. So at this point, I knew that this was coming eventually. So I bought Persona 5 vanilla, fully knowing well that Persona 5 Royal was going to come out at some point. That was a given to me from the beginning. However, there are a lot of new fans to Persona 5. There are a lot of fans to Persona. And to them, knowing that the game came out 3 years ago, if they feel, a lot of people feels that Persona 5 Royal came too early, that it might have wasted their time and their money, because now the new improved version of the game has come out. That is a valid concern, and that is a valid point to make. Some people, 3 years is not a long time for the life expectancy of a game. On the other hand, there are some games that get remade over and over again, like Skyrim. Skyrim has been ported to every single system known to man, and it will continue to probably be released the same, forever and everything. But comparing something like Skyrim to Persona 5 Royal is a tricky situation, because Persona 5 Royal offers a lot of content that is added into the game, which makes the game really worth it in a sense. One of the biggest things that when it was announced that there was going to be a third semester, which is a brand new part of the story, as well as new characters and new gameplay aspects that improve the gameplay and everything, you can imagine small tweaks and small things, as well as maybe some new elements here and there and everything. But the amount of content that they added into the game, you do not understand it until you have played vanilla, and then you go and play Royal. A lot of the new improvements are quite shocking and quite interesting. Now, we're not even talking about the new adding on stuff, which is the story and everything like that, which I'll give you a little bit of that in a second. The gameplay itself and a lot of the new stuff really does make the experience of Persona 5 vanilla better overall, whether it comes to a lot of the aspects from the perspective of you being able to go out and do things that you couldn't do before, new activities, but not only new activities, but time management is now more manageable. A lot of the variants, for example, Morgana, who tells you to go to sleep, is no longer really a problem or an issue. You can really manage that at your own time. You have so much time to do things and everything. They have a lot of new improvements when it comes to books that you read and all the different items that you can buy and everything like that. There's so many little tweaks that you can't really imagine how just this small stuff really they change. All of the dungeons, all of the original dungeons have been reworked in a way that it makes them more streamlined for you to go through them, and there's a bit more exciting. There's new aspect to them. There's the new grappling hook mechanic, which does improve the traveling through the dungeons and everything. There's all these different gameplay elements that have been added into it that are just interesting, and I really enjoyed them. For example, there's this new thing called the showtimes. The showtimes is basically just a cutscene where you and a partner and another character do this trick together. There's a ton of them. There's like 12 of them, and there's a variant with two different characters and so on. This new thing, as little as it sounds, as dumb as it sounds, is actually really fun to use it all the time. There's new aspects of gameplay like the technicals, which make the gameplay even more open for much different kind of approaches when it comes to ailment status and attacks that you can make, and all these different new combos that you can create. Baton Pass was improved, and there's so many other aspects that they made. All these little gameplay elements really changed the experience of the game in a full new light that I really didn't contemplate it before until you really play the game and you go deep into it. The new story aspects also do add a whole other layer to Persona that I really didn't expect from this game, especially in the emotional aspects. The new characters and the new story really are ended well together. They're really tight knitted to the story, but at the same time, with the new stuff, it just flows really well. You can tell that the budget for Persona 5 Royal went into the third semester content, because it is really well done, really well written, and really well directed. And that's one of the things that I really like how they approached that. That is a great thing. I really enjoyed it a lot. Overall, I am very excited to see how this is going to turn out later on. I think that later games, for example, I don't know if maybe Persona 6 can take notes on this end, because the story writing in the third semester was spectacular. Of some of the best work in Persona 5 by far, and I really liked it a lot. So it does make me think that it's worth it in that end. Now, that being said, if you are content with Persona 5 and you're not a fan of Persona 5, like say you're not the biggest fan, you enjoyed the game, you played it, you're kind of like, I beat it, it was good, I'm done, you don't have to buy Persona 5 Royal. This game isn't for you. Persona 5 Royal, whatever you didn't like in Persona 5, Persona 5 Royal is not going to improve a whole lot on that end. If you didn't like the story of Persona 5, Persona 5 Royal is not going to change your mind on that end. If you didn't like the gameplay in Persona 5, Persona 5 Royal improves the gameplay, but it builds upon it. It doesn't change the gameplay. The gameplay core elements are still there. So there are a lot of things that a lot of people mistakenly bought Persona 5 Royal thinking that this was going to be a completely new experience. And it is in some sense, but in some sense it's a similar experience, because the core aspects of the game are deeply in depth between everything else. Like, you can't really remove the core parts, aspects of the game. That is still there. And this is also why this cannot be DLC, because a lot of the new elements are so tightly knitted with the old elements to make a new thing whole. So it's just so hard to kind of I have no idea how they could have broke this down into a DLC element, just because everything is just built connected together from the beginning. They build up until the third semester. It's not just the semester just happens and new stuff happens. No, all these elements are written into the story anew. So I really like that a lot. But if you did not like the original Persona 5, I don't see a point of buying Persona 5 Royal. You may not enjoy this one more than the other one. Just being truthfully honest. Now, there's a lot of people that are also saying, hey, look, I don't have a lot of money. Sure, I totally understand. Maybe Persona 5 Royal should have not been $60. I can straight up say that. It doesn't shame me in any kind of way. You know, it's straight up a good point. A lot of people don't think that Persona 5 Royal is worth $60, and I totally understand. Currently, at the recording of this video, Persona 5 is a 25% discount on PSN, so it is a good chance to buy it. $30 for the game is an excellent price. $39.99, $40 is a good price for the game. I do think that is worth $40 for sure. But again, it is a perspective issue, and everybody has a different notion on what is worth and what is not worth. I really encourage you to look into it. Maybe watch somebody play the game again and compare it to what you have originally played, especially if you were kind of not really digging Persona 5 originally. If you didn't like it too much originally, honestly, I can tell you for sure you're not going to like Royal. It doesn't really improve on that aspects that you may be wanting the gameplay to improve on. Anyway, that is pretty much in this video here. I do think that Persona 5 Royal is worth it if you're a fan, if you're somebody that, like me, that is really interested into the game series, if you really like the games and everything like that. I am deeply invested in the series. I have a channel about it. So obviously my confirmation bias is going to say, yeah, sure, it's always going to be worth it. However, there are some exceptions to the rules that I just mentioned, and it's definitely up to you what you think about it. But if you have played Persona 5 Royal, what are your thoughts on this? Do you recommend it to people? Do you not think so? Let me know in the comments below. If you do, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time.